So how's it going out there today? First of all, I want to congratulate you on being one of the smart people to select Garmin. Garmin in this 4-inch fish finder, I don't think there's anything else out on the market that can compare to it. Now this unit I'm holding here, I've had for quite a while, and it is a 4-inch CV. It's got the clear view on it. It has a CV20 transducer. Now, like I said in another video here not too long ago, that's kind of funny because they brag about having a split screen. And as you'll see on this smaller unit, the split screen really doesn't do you a whole lot of good. But it's a great little unit. And like I've said before, when I got my 7-inch unit, I was actually a little disappointed in the picture. The picture on this is great. And we'll get into that here in just a minute. But first, I do want to tell you, there is a little bit of setup to these units. Whether you have the Eco Map or you have just this 4-inch striker unit, there's a little bit of setup. So you want to register it. And I just did a video here a week or so ago on registering your Garmin unit. So you want to go ahead and do that. Make sure this does not have an auto function for the transducer, and you can hurt the unit or the transducer by swapping them around without selecting the proper transducer. And I found that out because when I plugged it into my Sonar pod, which has a 52 HW transducer on it, it warned me right quick, hey, this isn't the right transducer, you need to unplug it, and it'll tell you. So let's go ahead and dive into some of these settings and how to operate this 4-inch striker unit. All right, so like I mentioned in the introduction, we're using a CV20 transducer. So let's go ahead and turn it on. The first thing you'll notice, you got traditional, clear view. You do have a flasher on these, and your split frequency, traditional and clear view, waypoint map and traditional, user data, and settings. Let's take a look at the user data right quick. And there you got your waypoints, your tracks, your routes. You can search for your tracks or your routes and manage your data. You can clear your user data, your memory usage, which I haven't used a lot on this, and then user data sharing. You can turn that on or off if you want to share your community waypoints and maps. Let's go over a few things first. These are my unit. Some of them are, but mine is not a touch screen. So you have to operate it using this button here, and you can go up, down, side to side. The check mark basically is just enter. You have a back button, your power button here, and this is your menu button. So if you want to go straight to your menus, that's your menu button. And that's for marking waypoints. Little inverted teardrop, just like on all the Garmin units. All right, so to generate a waypoint on something that you see at the screen, there's two ways you can put a waypoint on. One is something you see on the screen. The other one is the position of the boat. Let me show you the difference. If I press the inverted teardrop for waypoint, okay, that just set a waypoint. But look up top here, waypoint created at boat. So that's whatever your boat position is. If you want to create it on something on the screen, like let's see right there, hit your button and you move your crosshairs to where you want the waypoint, and then hit the check mark. Now you can see waypoint created at cursor. And guys, with Garmin, that is probably one of the biggest mistakes people make, and I made it for quite a while, and I've had a ton of comments on it because people want to just hit the teardrop. That marks your boat. You've got to mark your position with the cursor or the crosshairs to be able to set it to something you see on the screen. And same thing with traditional. And I'm going over this a little bit because it is something that people make a mistake on, like I say, including myself. So you can't do it while you're moving. You've got to hit your up button or your down button, and then move your crosshairs. And then once you get them moved, don't hit the waypoint button down here. Hit your check mark. And just get in the habit of reading this. Waypoint created at cursor. If it says at boat, you'll know I hit the wrong button. Or if you wanted it to boat, you would just hit this one. Waypoint created at boat. Okay, and if you want to see your waypoints, tracks, things like that, go into user data. That's where you can look at your waypoints. Let's take a look at our settings. Go to settings and hit our check mark and system. And this is where you can set up the simulator. So if you're like I am at home and you just want to mess around with it and plug it into a 12-volt source, you can turn your simulator on right there. And it's going to tell you right there that some features may or may not be available that show up on your simulator. So when you go to put your settings in the unit, don't have your simulator turned on. Check mark, let it know it's okay. You can also set your beeper when you want it to beep, your GPS. Let's take a look at that right quick. And there's your GPS. Auto power, if you want it to power down automatically. Language, system information. So when you first get it, you want to scroll all the way down to settings and go into the system. And there's your backlight. If you need to lower it or raise it. Color mode, you can set that to auto. Or you can go the day colors and the night colors. I normally just leave mine on the day colors. And when you go to system information, you can go in here and you can reset everything back to the factory values. If for some reason you plug something in and it just isn't right, that's where you would do that. And make sure we hit no on that. You can customize your home screen. You can add and remove different screens. And we'll go in that in a little more depth in another video. In settings, units, this is where you can go in and set everything up like you want. Position format, and I show that pretty much every time because it's important. If you're going to use Google Earth or something, you need to make sure you got that set to the right format. All right, and then all your time formats and navigation, quite a few different options there. If you want the turn transition time to show up or the turn transition activation. I didn't play with that a lot with this unit because I really wasn't going out that far. I just had it on a kayak. Go to my vessel. My vessel has a transducer type. You can see I've got a CV20. So I do have the clear view capabilities on this particular unit. So let's go ahead and turn our simulator on. And again, some features are not available when it's in simulator mode. Or actually what it is there are more features available with the simulator than normally, than when you have it plugged in. All right, so let's look at waypoint, map, and traditional. You can see a little boat there. Or if you want just the waypoint map. And here, just like with all the other Garmin units, when you're in a particular screen, push that menu button and it pulls up the options you have for that particular screen. Overlay numbers, map setup, your zoom functions, and we'll go over some of those in later videos. Clear view and traditional. And I mean, just look at that picture. That is crazy good. The split frequency. And if you don't know the advantages of the split frequency, look at that video I did, which is Sonar Frequency Explained. That'll give you an overview of why this split frequency is a good screen for you if you're doing vertical jigging. Right, flasher. And that's really handy if you're ice fishing, if you're doing vertical jigging. Clear view. Now I got to admit, with the CV20 transducer, I've never seen anything that clear. Really, you got to get into your UHD units before you start seeing images like that. And traditional. Now your traditional, it really does look that good. It is that clear. Again, go into your traditional, press the menu button. You can set your range to auto or wherever you want it. This is where you set your gain, frequency, zoom, and all that. So that is important. When you have these units, understand that when you're in a particular screen, whether it be that or clear view, hit that menu button, and that's where you're going to change your brightness, range, contrast is right there. So get into the screen you want to be in, and then go ahead and hit that menu, and then you can make that screen, you can dial it in from there. I wonder what options we got on flasher. Never used the flasher. Let's see, we got frequency, the range, the gain. I might have to play with that. That looks really handy. I think nowadays what they're calling that is the A-scope, and that shows up on the side of your traditional sonar screen. Basically what it's doing, it's letting you see movement underneath your transducer and at what depth. So really handy. All right, so as you can see, it's a great little unit. It has a lot of functionality, and it should do great for you, whether you're putting it on a kayak, on a boat, or using it for ice fishing. So guys, again, congratulations on a good smart buy. We'll see you on the next one.